Okay. If I speak at this level, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Obviously, these are the space station mock-ups right in front of us. Looking in that direction towards the big high bay and the large American flag, that is the forward end of the space station. That is its direction of travel. So it's moving that direction at 17,500 miles an hour. Harmony, the first piece in the front, is a node. It's a connector piece. It's like a hallway. And that's actually where the shuttle docks when it comes to visit the station. So right now there's a shuttle docks to the end of Harmony. Harmony is our piece that connects all of our laboratories. So we have on the side closest to us the European lab. It's called Columbus. It's the smallest lab that we have on board. On the back side of it, closest to us is Destiny. That's the U.S. laboratory. And on the far side, with the additional module on top, is the Japanese module, which is called Kibo. It is the largest module on orbit, which makes it the largest laboratory, by definition. But it was so big, it was very heavy, we had to launch it empty. So we stowed all of its innards, all of its inside stuff, in that logistics module and actually launched that first. And then we docked it on top of Harmony until we got Kibo up there, and then we moved it over and emptied it out. So a lot of logistics involved in actually populating that module just because it was so large. Coming back, you see another node, Unity. This one, it unifies the American and Russian ends of the space station, so aptly named. Coming off of Unity is the airlock, and this is actually where we have some astronauts sleeping tonight. Well, right now they are sleeping to get ready for their spacewalk tomorrow. So there are 2 guys actually sleeping in the airlock on board the space station tonight to get ready for that. Let's see, what they took up, this mission 131 that's visiting the space station right now, took up a multi-purpose logistics module, which is that module right across from us that's labeled MPLM. It's a moving van. It's how we get cargo into space when it needs a pressurized vehicle, we can't just stick it out in the payload bay in the vacuum. So that's actually a pressurized module, and we'll cram it full of whatever we need to take up, dock it, and then unload it, and when we come home, we'll actually cram it full of maybe any trash that we don't need, stick it back in the payload bay of the shuttle, and come home. So that's the real capability that we're going to be losing with shuttle right there, is that cargo capacity of that size is what we lose. So we still have ways to resupply the space station through the Russians and the Japanese and the Europeans, but we don't have a way to bring home anything very large anymore once we retire shuttle. If you look at the big model on the wall over here, this is a 1/10 scale model. We're here with my big, does my laser pointer work? There you go. There's the big model. This is the truss, 357 feet long. Each solar panel, that's 119 feet, each one, so you get about a 250 foot wingspan. This is the airlock, and you can see there's a little astronaut coming out of it. At least those of you from here down can see. He would be 6 feet tall in real life, so if it gives you an idea of scale. Each of these sets of radiator panels here is the size of a tennis court. It's big. Have you seen it fly over? Well, if you haven't yet, you're going to have some opportunities. Actually, in the Houston area, we're having opportunities this weekend. So check out, just Google ISS sightings, and it'll take you to the page where you can see when it's going to be flying over you. And it's really cool to see. I recommend it. As we move down a little bit, we'll move towards these white modules here.
We're walking.
Keep
walking. Don't stop.
Somebody has a cough drop. Jerry. I can see it. It's strange. It's scary. All right. You can kind of stop right there, just so you can still see everything. All right, so the white modules are the Russian portion of the International Space Station. Theirs look different. Ours were launched in the payload bay of a shuttle, so they're, can-shaped, and the Russians are rocket-shaped. They launched theirs on a rocket, unmanned. Ours are designed to be dependent on one another, which means that there's more room inside for systems, for experiments. Whereas with the Russian method of doing it, it's really cool because you don't have to, you can send them up by themselves, but you lose space because you have to have propulsion and electrical generation and things like that. The piece right in front of us, Zarya, the functional cargo block, was actually the first piece of the space station to be launched in 1998. So we've been working on this thing for a little while. First crew to live on board, by the way, was in November of 2000. So this November is actually 10 years of continuous human space flight, continuous human presence in space. So for 10 years, you've never looked at the sky without there being somebody in it. So think about that, how old you were 10 years ago versus right now. The piece connected to Zarya is called Zvezda. It's the service module. And when we only had 2 or 3 people living on board, that's where they did all their living. So that's where the restroom was, the sleeping stations, the kitchen were all in there. Now that we've gone to a larger crew, we've kind of dispersed that a bit more. So they do some, we have some additional sleep areas, another restroom, another kitchen, spread out through the vehicle. But they still meet together in Zvezda at the dining room table for typically about 1 meal a day. Usually the commander will mandate that they eat breakfast or dinner together so that they interact with other human beings while they're up there. Because it's a really large vehicle. We say it's about the size of a 5-bedroom house. So it's possible for all the crew to be off working in different modules all day long and not bump into one another. So that one meal that